It is Monday. It's already February. That stupid groundhog said we have 6 more weeks of winter. No, I don't think so. Anyway, welcome to my live stream. This is your weekly live dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and we chat about real estate and the lovely housing market. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about how there are homes that are sitting on the market for like 2 months or longer. Oh my God, did we ever think that was going to happen? Well, yeah, it's happening, guys. So let's talk about it. But first, I want to bring on my very special guest, my very good friend, all the way from Plymouth, Massachusetts, my good friend, Jen Sylvester. How
What's
are
happening?
you?
Just Jen.
What is going on, my friend?
Oh, it is another day in the life, Jackie.
Yes.
Another challenging day in the world of real estate. Snowing here in Massachusetts.
Yep, we had it too. We got a little snow here in the dirty Jers last night.
A little bit foggy headed because I was up half the night because the darn snow plows making a racket in the all night.
It's so annoying.
It's so annoying. And you know what else is annoying? This real estate market, this housing market. You see what I did there? Nice little segue.
I like that little segue. So let's talk about that. So
let's talk about it.
It's a study by Redfin was done, and they're saying now the typical home is taking a little bit longer to sell. So let's dive into that, shall we? Let me just
let's.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Share screen. Okay. Here it is. The typical home is taking nearly 2 months to sell. Oh my God. Like, did we ever think that we would say that's a long time? But yeah, here we are. They say that's the slowest pace in 5 years. There are more than 5 months of supply on the market, the most since early 2019. Homes are taking a long time to sell, largely because of housing costs are so expensive. But for buyers who can afford it, there are a fair amount of homes to choose from. Homes are selling at their slowest pace since the start of the pandemic, and fewer homes are turning over as mortgage rates and home prices remain elevated. This is according to Redfin data as of the 4 weeks ending January 26th. The typical U.S. home listing that went under contract sat on the market for 54 days before the seller accepted an offer, the longest span since March of 2020, and a week longer than this time last year. At this time in 2022, during the pandemic-driven home buying boom, the typical home was selling in 35 days. There were 5.2 months of supply on the market, the most since February 2019, and up from 4.9 months a year earlier. Months of supply is the length of time it would take for the existing supply of homes to be bought up at the market's current sales pace. A longer span means homes are sitting on the market longer as signals a buyer's market. Pending home sales were down 9.4% year over year, the biggest decline since September of 2023. Now, Jen, they go on to say that sales are slow because it's very expensive to buy a home, with mortgage rates sitting near 7% and home prices up 4.8% year over year. The median monthly housing payment is $2,753, just shy of April's record high. Additionally, extreme weather, including snow and frigid cold in the Midwest, South, and Northeast, and wildfires in Southern California are keeping would-be buyers at home. Not in Jersey, I'll tell you that. The snow doesn't stop anybody here, but the market may pick up in the coming weeks as mortgage rates fall at least slightly from the earlier January peak and the new listings tick up. Additionally, Redfin agents expect some buyers to step off the sidelines soon as they get tired of waiting for rates and prices to come down. So Jen, what's happening on Sunday? This coming Sunday?
The foosball.
The foosball.
The foosball is the devil.
The Super
Bowl. Little Waterboy reference there for y'all.
I love that movie. Anyway, the Super Bowl. So typically this is when the spring market, it's the unofficial start of the spring housing market. So I think their timing of this talking about, they're expecting more people, to come off the sidelines. Yeah, this is the time of year when it starts to happen. Now,
do you think that's all a plant? Like, I think that, just to, not to be all tinfoil hat and all
Like to
that,
like to
or
put it to put that in people's minds that like
yeah, to be like,
yeah.
"Oh gosh, they read it in the news that, that's the start of the season, fear of missing out, FOMO. We gotta get out and start looking
No, I
now."
never thought of it like that, but I will tell you, it's the lo I've been in this business 10 years, and typically, in February, like late February going into March, that's when things pick up here. So,
Yep. No,
it
I
could
would
very well
concur.
could be,
Yep.
yeah.
No,
You
I would
concur.
concur. I mean, I actually my phone started, um, ringing. My 4th quarter was very quiet, and
Mhm.
in January, like, after that first week in January is always slow, right? People coming off
Yeah.
the holidays and everything else. That 2nd week in January, um, and granted, all most of my business, 98% of my business is all repeat referral business, right?
Yep. Yep.
And folks, so these are people that are intending on, they planned on calling me initially, but
Yep.
they all called. So I had, like 3 listing appointments, walkthroughs,
Yep.
in 1 week, and, a couple of them they're planning to list, mid-February. So we're right
Nice.
around Valentine's Day. We're gonna get the ball rolling, but it was
Ooh.
like a surge of activity. And
Yep.
I'm already seeing it. I got another call today from past client that they wanna get together, and I think that is, a sign of what we may be heading into. But yeah,
Yep.
February, it always ramps up.
It does.
It
Yeah.
obviously, weather and stuff depends on where you are, but it always starts to ramp up as people are like, "Okay, holidays are over."
Mhm.
The fall market is, November and December can be a wash. So let's get going.
Yep.
Let's get things going.
But I wanna touch on this article a little bit because they're talking about how it's taking longer. They're saying it's taking 2 months to sell. We all know a balanced market is, 6 months, right? So
Mhm.
we're still way under that. It's still a seller's market. So as you know, I had 2 listings that I put on the market, early January. The first house, we went under contract in 2 weeks. The other one, we should be officially under contract by tomorrow morning because we've been negotiating septic issues with the house, and they were trying to negotiate a credit. So as we've been in the attorney review process a lot longer than we should have been, but still, we got multiple offers within the first 5 days, way over asking price. So that's when they're saying, "Oh, the weather's keeping people home." No, it's not. We did an open house at this one property on a Thursday afternoon because my partner was like, "You know what? This is an investment property. Investors will not be out on the weekend. Let's do it on a Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30." I'm like, "All right, you know what you're talking about. We'll do it." Jen, 60 people showed up on a Thursday evening.
Couldn't believe it when you told me that.
60 people. And then the offers just like within a couple of days just started coming in. I'm like, Jesus, is this
Well
ever going to end?
I think, no, it's not until the demand is satisfied.
Yeah,
And then that's
I
the thing
know.
is that, I think a lot of these, the crash bows and all the things, like, people, all the naysayers say that, this is all gonna things are gonna crash. People are gonna completely, recede. They're not gonna buy. It's like, no, these people will buy eventually, because
Yep.
you don't wanna buy a house and then just say, "You know what? Nah, I'm not gonna buy one. I'm never gonna move.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna buy my first house. I'm just gonna rent." No, eventually they do. It's just a matter of time. Whether
Right.
it be they have to adjust their expectations, or they have to adjust where they're looking, or they have to adjust their income situation.
Mhm.
Eventually some, and depending on how much you're struggling, it may be longer, but eventually they do, which means we still have backlog. And until you get through the backlog of buyers, there's, but it depends on the area, right? Because the
Right.
areas that are in the pockets that have, more new construction, which means they have more overall inventory,
Yep.
those areas, or you have the areas like Florida where properties are not selling as much because they don't have an inventory, they have a insurance issue or HOA issue. Those
Mhm.
are gonna be the reasons. But when you have, Bergen County, you don't have those issues.
No.
You don't have the HOA, you don't have your insurance, challenges that Florida does, you don't have the new construction challenges
Yep.
that Austin does. So,
Right.
there you go.
Right. Yeah, I know. We're a unique market, that's for sure. People still wanna live
It's
here,
because you
which
live
is
there,
like
Jackie. I'm
it's
just
because
saying.
of me. It was because of me. So really I told
They
you the
should be
story.
thankful. They should be writing you letters.
Well, I
Be like,
told you I told you a story about the agent that I met at our home inspection this week, representing the buyer, and when I walked in the door, he looked at me, he goes, "So how many, followers you up to?" Like 84,000. I'm like, "Oh my god, you watch me?" I'm like, never met the guy, and he's like, he knew me. I'm like, "Okay."
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it was really funny.
That's
But anyway,
hilarious.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So Jen, it says here, just want to run through the stats a little bit from our Redfin article here. So they're saying the daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate was 7.06%. That's actually down from 7.26. I heard last week it was down to almost yeah, it was almost down to just 7% or like 6.9.
Yeah,
I
it's
heard
gonna
that.
fluctuate. I mean, it's all gonna be
Yeah.
hinging on, honestly, I mean, let's face it, because we have a new administration and the
Mhm.
new this particular administration is coming out guns blazing,
Mhm.
the stock market is gonna be up, and
Oh, I
the
know.
stock market is gonna be up and down, which is gonna affect everything.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's, I think, why at the beginning of the year, right? The leading economist, Lawrence Yun, one of them from National
Mhm.
Association of Realtors, his data is always very good. Follow
Yep.
him pretty closely, and
Yep.
he said it's going to be like this all year.
Yep.
It's not going to be a slow, steady decline or incline. It's just it's going to bounce,
It is gonna fluctuate for
and
sure.
don't try. And if you're trying to buy a house, don't try to time that.
Nope,
That's incredibly difficult to try to time something
definitely
like that.
not. Definitely not.
So
So this was interesting. So it says here Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index. It says the lowest level since June. That's as of week ending January 26th. So compare year over year, it's down 1%. But however, touring activity is up 7% from the start of the year. At this time last year, it was up 8% from the start of 2024. Google searches, homes for sale is up 14% from a month earlier, but they're saying year over year, it's essentially unchanged. So now we have the median sale price is up to 377,125. That's a 4.8% increase. Median asking price 407,225, 5.2% year over year change. So, like you said, it's more of the same so far this year. But we shall see. But let me get to I got the chat is like it's burnt, it's cooking up here. We got a lot of questions here. So let me start bringing some comments on here. Sandrick, thank you. In July, we asked you about selling our home. You started with decluttering and gave us other advice. We listened, sold our home at the open house, had a bidding war, 10K over. Thank you.
awesome, awesome sauce.
Thank you for sharing. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so
You
much.
know
Oh
what?
my
Sharing
God.
that kind of stuff does give, like, if you have your house on the market and you're struggling, like, or you're thinking about putting your house on the market, stories like that, is say, okay, it's
Yep.
not. Sometimes it's not. You can't really listen to everything you read
Yep.
because
That's true.
surprise, the
Yes.
news isn't always accurate.
I
Oh,
know.
dun dun
Oh my
dun.
God. Where's your sound deck? There's no sound
I
effects,
know.
Jen?
You know what?
It's
Again,
not working?
I'm asleep at the wheel here.
Oh, come on. All right, Charlton, hey, how are you? Did interest rate just jump last week? As I just said before, I thought they were down last week a little bit. They came down, but you know what? I got to look that up right now, see what the rates are. GMath, Bergen County, not here in Ridgewood, 3 open houses on the weekend under attorney review on Monday. Yeah, that's the 2 properties that I listed. It's exactly what happened with mine, and I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be that insane. I really for January, when did we have that open house? January 16th? What the hell? Like 60 people on a Thursday. And then the following weekend for the other property we had listed in Ridgewood, yeah, we had like 30 groups, but they were scheduled showings. We didn't have a formal open house because there were tenants in the home and we didn't want to disrupt their day and having all these people coming in. And so we just said scheduled appointments. Yeah, 30 groups that came through. It was great. Um was a tough 6 months to get there, but is worth it in our new home in St. Johns River in Florida. Congratulations. Good
Awesome.
for you. Good. I love seeing that. Thank you so much. Hey Roy, what's going on? I had plenty to pick from in Southern Arizona after I sold the house in New Milford. Certainly is buyer's market in Southern Arizona right now. Houses priced like 2022 just sitting there. Yeah, I'm here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been hearing that Arizona's been then that the market's been softening there. Look at that, Jen,
Oh,
with the best duo. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you. Living our
Thank you.
lives. Greetings, J&J. Thank
Greetings.
you. How are you? Sweetwater Ranch. Hello from Florida. We're in Pasco County, and the new home growth is incredible. Yeah, yeah. So Florida, they're still building like it's nuts. I was talking to another real estate agent down in the Palm Beach area, not our friend Paul. This other guy I knew, this Ray Fernandez, and he's still killing it because he's selling a ton of new construction.
Wow.
It's just not stopping.
Proper pricing, folks. If you're one of those markets, you just got to make sure you get proper pricing and the best possible presentation. The P's.
Yes.
Pricing and presentation.
All right, Natalia, what percentage of all buyers do not want to buy in HOA communities? I'll be selling my home, my Florida home in HOA. I don't know of a specific percentage, but there is a concern. I'm not going to lie to you. There is a concern with HOA communities in Florida, like especially if you have a condo. There are buyers are concerned about it.
But a question for you, Jackie. So I mean, but the reality of it is because there are so many HOAs in Florida. If you are HOA sensitive, why would you be looking to buy in Florida?
True.
You look somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
So, because I think a lot of people see, because a lot of the HOAs, I mean, you hear the news is going to report the bad, period.
Yep.
They're not going to tell you the good. They're not going to tell you that you don't have to mow your lawn. You don't have to do this. You don't have to worry about, exterior maintenance. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff. They're not going to report all that stuff. Or if you have amenities, if you have, shuffleboard and meeting places and whatever not, right?
Yep.
And a lot of them are well run. You're not going to hear about that. I think the
Yep.
biggest thing is if you're going to sell a house with an HOA, have all of your financials ready, have all your condo docs ready.
Yes.
So the buyer is going to want to review that. They're going to want to make sure that that condo is not one of the stay away danger condos. Have all that documentation ready. But I wouldn't have it as be a biggest concern, because if the buyer doesn't want HOA, then they're the wrong buyer. They're not looking in the right area anyways.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. Kay says, I've had a house on the market since November. It's a beautiful house on the water on Long Island. Since the open house in November, we've hardly had any bites. I'm sorry to hear that. What I would do, Kay, talk to your real estate agent and have them run comps, see what's make sure you're priced competitively with the within your market. Because that's the first telltale sign is it's your price.
Or I mean, from a homeowner's perspective, Jackie, a homeowner can absolutely call another real estate agent while they're under contract with a current real estate agent to get advice. Real estate agent, we're prohibited from calling, soliciting, seller that has a signed contract. With the seller, right? We can't solicit a seller that's got a signed contract with a listing agent, rather. However, a seller, they can do whatever they want to do. They can't start working with another real estate agent before they break a contract. But if they want to get advice with another, say they signed a contract with one of those 80% agents that we talk about. And you're like, didn't know it was an 80% agent at the time. Maybe the price isn't right. I mean, I have one of my referral partners is in Long Island, and he's fantastic. He sold a client that I referred. Someone contacted me off of YouTube, and it was like, maybe a week, and like 10% over asking. It was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. And so I think maybe just get curiosity, talk to another agent just to see if your price is proper. Maybe you're a little bit too. Sometimes these agents are like, oh, we're going to be a little bit more aggressive, or they just don't know the market.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, sometimes the agents, you and I say this, and this is the 80% agents, they want a listing. They desperately want a listing. So they'll say, yeah, I can sell this for $600,000 when the market's really $400,000. They'll get the seller all excited. Oh yeah, okay, let's put it on the market. So yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Well, and on that note, Jackie, they do so with the thought in mind that I just want to get the listing, and then I'll get them to come down in price.
Yes,
once it's under contract. Because the reality of it is, I think somebody had commented in the chat that real estate agents are must be struggling right now. I mean, the ones that have a good book of business, the ones that do their business relationally versus
Yep.
transactionally, meaning you're doing it, you're doing everything based on doing things for the right reason. You do well by your people, by your folks, have a good solid foundation,
Yep.
have a good poured concrete foundation. But
Yep.
those that are the unscrupulous ones, or maybe the lazy or whatever, their foundations are sitting up on just a bunch of sand
Mm.
and they're crumbling. They don't have a
Yep.
solid foundation,
Yeah.
So those are
Yeah.
the ones that are hungry and they will promise you the world to get your business.
Absolutely. So you got to be aware. Be aware of that.
Interview more than one agent.
Yes, 3. Okay, D, truth wins. Feel
3
so
inch.
stupid for selling house in 2022 and moving with my parents. I still have a great down payment for our next house, but I gave up a mortgage of 550 a month. Crappy area, but not the worst. Listen, don't beat yourself up over that.
I was gonna say the same.
Do not beat yourself
Nope.
up over that. You did, it was the right time for you, and now you're gonna move on to something else. So do not beat yourself up over that.
I concur.
I get it, but yeah, no.
It's
Don't.
hindsight 2020, right, Jackie? It's easy to say, "Oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda," but we make the
Yep.
decisions in the moment that we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
I know. So, all right. Guy Incognito. Is Florida overbuilt? Are people still moving to Florida at the pandemic highs, or has the exodus begun? Well, look, I've been seeing that there are people that are moving out because it's getting too expensive because of the rising insurance rates and the hurricanes and all the things. It's gotten super expensive down there, but people are still moving there. There are
So,
still people going there.
can I do a little plug,
Yeah,
Jackie?
please do.
So my my live stream's tomorrow night, right? Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And I have Paul Likens on, who's down in Florida, Palm Beach. And
Oh,
I'm talking about the Florida market. So I'm digging into the research and getting all that information. So if you want more about what's
yeah.
going on down there, tune in, jump on, or you can watch it on the replay. But I'll be talking about
Yep.
that
I'll
tomorrow.
be sharing Jen's channel at the end of the, live stream, so you guys you definitely go check that out. That's gonna be a good one. Fitness health. Love you guys. Thank you. My family's been in the construction and development biz for over 50 years, and everyone is in panic because no one can stop what is coming, but no one likes to hear the truth. So you're saying no one can stop what's coming, which are you saying there's gonna be a crash? That's how I'm here she goes. Okay. Only a few markets may survive if they are lucky.
Here's the if I can comment on that, Jackie.
Sure.
So there's a lot of talk, obviously, right now between the market and tariffs and all the things with the what's going on
Mhm.
with the administration. There's so much um, to be nervous about. The
Yep.
thing that I would say, and Jackie, you and I have talked about this, it hasn't happened yet. Yes,
Right.
you need to be prepared. Yes, you absolutely, from a business perspective, every business has a business plan, and you have to
Mhm.
have some sort of a predictable model going into first quarter, second quarter. However, the name of the game this year is going to be stay fluid, stay flexible,
Mhm.
because I mean the Trump administration instituted a tariff 25% to Mexico one day, and the next day it was lifted. So
Mhm.
we don't know.
And
We don't
Canada
know.
lifted too. Canada came
Was it?
back and said, "Okay, yep." They had like
Well,
an
so
hour like 2 hours ago.
I
I just
think
found
that
that
that's
out.
the thing is that I think that, the National Association of Home Builders wrote a letter to President Trump about their concern with the tariffs in Canada and how it
Yep.
was gonna negatively affect, or the tariffs in general and how it was gonna negatively affect, and maybe that had something to do with it, but I mean, I don't know if a letter does, from the National Association of Home Builders is gonna be enough, but the fact of the matter is that, I mean, yes, it had to be written, but it's not. Everything is in limbo. Everything's not in limbo, but it's a fluid
It's
situation.
fluid. It's
It's a
fluid
fluid
right now,
situation,
and it
and
yeah,
I
like,
think
it's gonna
y
be that way all year.
I
I
think
really
it's
feel
gonna
it.
be
Like you
like that
said
all
before,
year.
it's gonna be yeah, we just gotta just go with the flow. That's what we
Yeah,
gotta
which is
do.
hard, especially if
It's
you're if
very
you have a
hard. I
business,
know.
right?
Oh, absolutely.
But
Listen, I get it, but I'm just rolling with it. I just because you can only control so much. You can't control the actions of others. So you gotta just got you like I said, you gotta be prepared, you gotta plan and, just
I
just
think
roll
what you do
with
is
it.
you go on the conservative side
Yep.
and don't waste, don't necessarily plan for the worst
Mhm.
for what you see in front of you.
Right. Oscar says, greetings from Virginia Beach. Welcome. Currently on a townhouse here, but our primary house is in Jacksonville, Florida. Considering selling next year after some TLC from watching Jackie's video, things not to do. Well, good. All right. Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm glad that helped you. See, it's all see, Jen, the value what we provide everybody. I love it.
That's
I
what we
love that
care about. We care
I
about y'all.
know.
We care
I
about
know we
y'all. We
do.
really
Very,
do. That's no
very
joke.
much. Very much.
We were just talking about that before we went live. Like,
Yep.
you were to run, if you were to run into us at Walmart, we would be the same people.
Yep.
This is not.
It's so true.
This
It's so true.
This is not like, oh, trying to get people to get on the live stream, whatever. No, this is like, we legitimately do want to help y'all get good information, all the things.
Yes. Yeah. But, but we're also coming from perspectives like being in the business as long as we have. I mean, you've been in a lot longer than me, but we got a lot of experience and we know how things work. And, we just want to help the average consumer. We don't want anybody to get screwed.
I want you guys to be able to advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. A. Sandrick says, Jen mentioned presentation. We put on a new roof, fixed everything our inspector found, painted and staged. Again, a lot of work, but worth it. Very good.
I applaud you. That is not easy. That is not
like
that's a lot of home sellers do not go through that. But you know what? Guess what? It paid off, didn't it?
Yep. See, it does. It does pay off.
Good for you. Good for you.
I will tell you, so people like what she just mentioned there, he or she mentioned there about do the things that the home inspector points out. Like I would totally do a pre-listing home inspection. I would hire my own home inspector to come in here, find what needs to be addressed and fix it. I had a couple of clients do that and it definitely paid off. It really, it's for what, $500-$600 you pay the inspector.
Especially if you have an older home. Yes.
Yeah. And you save a ton of money when the buyer comes in with their inspector, they find the same stuff, but it's already fixed. There you go. You just saved yourself thousands of dollars. So that's what I'm doing if and when we ever sell this place. So Roy says on the water often means flood insurance. It chased away 9 out of 10 buyers that looked at my place. Okay. Yep. Good point, Roy. I know you're talking about the person who had the house in Long Island. CQ, thank you for your help. I need to sell a house in Florida with an HOA. The house needs work, and I'm trying to figure out if I should fix it up beforehand or sell as is. What do you recommend? Depends on what you need to fix. Like if you need a roof, if you have like things that are broken, you have to fix the plumbing, fix your AC. Those things I would address. But if you're talking about cosmetic stuff, I would leave it alone. Don't sell that as is. Let somebody else renovate.
I would talk to your local agent and find out what your competition is looking like. That's what I would do. Interview your 3 agents and find out, what you don't want is an agent that just comes in and says, oh, you got to do everything. You want an agent that's going to show you proof why you should do it.
Right.
If your competition is $25,000 more and it's only going to cost you $5,000 to get there, then it makes sense.
Yep.
But if it's $25,000 more and you got to spend $20,000, $25,000, no, sell it as is.
Yep.
Sell it as is. But you got to know what your competition is, and your agent, the person that's the boots on the ground, is going to be the one that is going to be able to give you the best advice in terms of what should and shouldn't be done.
Absolutely.
But the maintenance items are always, your regular maintenance items are always a safe bet.
Yes.
Yep.
Dan B, this is a good one, Jen. Can you each tell us your favorite house you sold? What kind of house and property was it?
Oh, man.
Oh, I love that question.
I think about that.
Oh, I know. I could tell you right now, it was in 2020 during the pandemic. These buyers bought. Now here in Jersey, we do have like a lot of older homes, like early 1900s. I mean, I know where you are. You have, Jen, your house is even older than that, but it was a carriage house. So it was on this big piece. So it was a big piece of land, but their property was like, I think about maybe like half an acre, a little bit more, but it was an old carriage house that was a carriage house that was part of like another, like a much bigger house that was knocked down years ago, but the carriage house was left standing. And this carriage house was huge, but it still had the original flooring from the early 1900s. Like the wood floors, like the knotted pine. Oh my God. It was it was renovated. The kitchen was renovated, pretty much was updated, but My clients, that's what they were looking for. Like, they wanted that old house with the charm, the character, and all the things. It was the coolest freaking house. I loved that house. That was my favorite one. I was so excited when I helped them buy that, 'cause I'm like, "I wanna live here." It was so I love old houses. I don't like the work that comes with it, but I just love the look and the feel of them. So that was my fave.
I would say I helped some really good, longtime clients purchase a home and this was probably 2 years ago, I would say, thereabouts, and it was a waterfront property in Plymouth,
Mhm.
and it was in the neighborhood that they grew up in. So it was kind of I don't know, kind of a narrow lot, but the back of the house was just floor to ceiling windows. And it was
Oh.
and it was elevated
Mhm.
with, but the sea it had a seawall built up. So it was elevated, it had drop off, but it had a seawall, but then it has private steps. It was like gated, locked, all the things to the association. It was like right next to the house with,
Yeah.
with walls and everything else. But the coolest thing, it had a nice little backyard and you could see all of Cape Cod Bay. But the coolest thing is the reason why they wanted to buy that house um, was because when you stood in the backyard, he could see the part of the beach down the way and the rock that he proposed to his wife on.
Oh.
And like down and
Aw.
he's, the husband's a big, they're both big, ocean people and grew up on
Yeah.
the ocean, all the things.
Oh,
But it was just a
that's
very
so cool.
cool, I mean, you could just see for miles and miles and miles. But I
Wow.
think it was the house was cool, but the reason why they bought the house was just so romantic. And I will
Aw.
just a side story, that house, and this almost never happens. I had my drones flying in that house, around that house, and I hung back because it was so wide open. So I did the thing you're not supposed to do and take your eye off the drone. And because I was flying, my setup, I got a screen and all the things.
Yeah.
I went out over the water. I've done this umpteen times to get a nice wide shot of the house while it was over the ocean. It was windy.
Oh god.
The drone does great in the wind.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't account for,
Yeah.
when the drone is fighting against the wind, it uses more battery.
Oh.
All of a sudden, I get the alarm start going off, low battery, return to home. When it does that, I lose total control of it. I can't see. I can't see where it is.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I see it coming down. My tracker turned off.
Oh my
I had
god.
no idea where it was.
Oh my god.
I thought I lost it. So, and you can't get down to the beach because they had taken the stairs out because
Yeah.
it was the middle of, it was cold. It was middle of winter
Yep.
getting into winter. And, so we had to go all the way down and then hike all the way back up. And the
Oh
beach is
my
beautiful
god.
sand, which is a pain in the butt to walk through.
Uh-huh.
And we walked 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 and I'm cursing and I'm going, for the love of God, I don't want to have to, these things are expensive. And Winch and my client's like racing ahead of me and he's, guess what? He's like Lion King. Ah, they die. Found the
We
stupid
got the
drone.
drone.
I'm like,
Oh, that's
oh, what
awesome.
a
Oh
dummy.
my
Yeah, I
god.
should have been watching the battery, but so
Ugh.
that's probably why
Well,
that
lesson
house
learned,
sticks in
right?
my head.
Lesson learned. That's a very good lesson to
Oh my
learn.
goodness.
Sweetwater Ranch Ministries. I have a unique 10-acre property that I'm going to list soon. I have a farm, but outgrowing the property as we were raising our own meats and loving it. Oh, that's
Ooh,
that's that's pretty freaking cool.
it's all
Oh
like,
my god.
what do they call that? Um, I can't think of the word. A prepper or whatnot. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like
Like,
right.
you like
Yep.
living off your own land and
Yep.
like no chemicals, no.
Yeah.
That, that's probably
Yes,
yummy,
yeah,
yummy,
that'll be
yummy.
fun. Natalia, will it be a mistake for me to paint walls white colors, shades to prepare a house for sale? What wall paint colors help sell a house fast?
Well, I can tell you this.
Go
I've done
ahead.
so many videos about this.
Oh,
So
that's
you're
right.
gonna
Jen's
stick
the
with.
expert on this.
Yeah, I've done a couple recently about this. So you're gonna want to stick to the soft neutral colors and colors vary by room. So certain rooms are actually different colors. So like your bathrooms, light blue. House.com, HOUZZ did a study that about a year ago and said that actually houses, and I don't quote me on this because I don't think this is like, I don't think you can quantify it this much, but they said homes with light blue bathrooms typically sell for $5,000 more. And I wouldn't put a price tag on it, but I will tell you that light blue is and always been a very common color for bathrooms. But your light beiges, your warm whites, light gray. I know a lot of people are like, no, light gray, but any of those,
That's my house.
natural, but you can do you can do accent wall. Yeah, that's what I did. I have like a Notre Dame gray in my living room, which I
Okay.
actually with like a warm white on my trim because I don't like stark white. The thing I would tell you to do is don't paint your walls the same color as your ceiling. Your ceiling should
Yeah.
be a flat
Ceiling
white,
white. Yeah.
straight
Ceiling.
white, flat
Yep.
white, right? Like a ceiling white, I should say.
Yes.
Ceiling white,
Yep.
not flat white, ceiling white. Don't paint your walls the same color
No, don't do
because
that.
there's no differentiation between the walls and the ceiling, then you lose that aspect and it
Mhm.
becomes very sterile. So,
Yep.
but I would go with I don't think it's a mistake at all.
Yep.
Nope.
No. Okay. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
We have a question here. What are your thoughts on getting a loan from SoFi lender? Any recommendations? So I just looked this up. So SoFi is personal loans.
Correct.
So
Usually they're like, they do a lot of like, college loans, but I think they do other types of loans too. Any of those
that's
online lenders, I personally am a little bit leery
I'm
of
very leery.
online lenders. I'm not a fan, and maybe it's
Um,
'cause I'm old school. I like to have an actual person that's local or
yes.
someone that is, that you can pick up the phone and call their cell and you're gonna get them.
Mhm.
You
Yeah, so
know?
my whole thing with that too is it's working with a local person is if you're in a bidding war, right? If you're competing for the house, it reassures the seller if you're working with a local mortgage lender, right? Because they'll know that the mortgage will more than likely get approved. There won't be any issues. You want to work with somebody that's reputable and knows that local market too. So there's not going to be an issue with the appraisal, all that stuff. So it makes a deal go smoother if you're working with somebody local. I agree. I hate to say it, but I've done 3 deals with Rocket Mortgage. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I'm just saying. I'd like everyone likes them. They would go, they got the low rates, but I had one client almost get screwed because they teased her with a really super low rate. And then as she got through it, doing the credit and all that stuff and during the underwriting process, she came back with a higher rate.
I
So
would
then she ended up switching to my guy because he
So
got
I
her
was
a
just
lower
gonna
rate.
say, you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say that a lot of folks go out to these online lenders because they get teased with the rates.
Yep.
If you're going to do that, you wanna look at the APR, not the rate.
Yes.
The APR, not the rate. The APR is what the rate is when you average in the closing costs, because 'cause they're gonna tease you with a rate that might be lower, but on the back end, they're gonna charge you an extra point or the lender's fees are higher. You wanna
Right.
make sure that the APR is what the rate is and the closing cost combined, and that gives
Mm.
you truly what that loan is gonna cost you. And that's the best way to when you're comparing lender to lender. I'm gonna tell you right now though, Jackie, and I don't know if you see this as well, but they're all the same. They're all within, a
Yeah.
fraction point. There's
Yep.
no like you don't there's no like in this day and age, you're shopping for the service, not the rate. Because you
Absolutely.
get a good lender, if you show them the rate, the APR on an online, a lot of them will just match it.
Yeah.
That
That's
there's
true.
very little difference between, lender to lender, but look at the APR when you're shopping.
Yep. Yep. Oh, hi, Patty. How are you?
Hey, Patty.
It's so,
Cheers, Patty.
yes.
Nice, get one of my mugs.
Cheers. Okay, Patty says there are a whole lot of new construction in Palm Beach County. Yeah, as I said before, but the agent I know, he said he's doing a lot of new construction down there. Um, let's see here. Nicholas Lewis, people still need homes and folks have been waiting for a crash for years. And they're going to continue waiting because I don't think it's really going to happen. Um, Anyway, let's see what else. Oh, here we go. NJ Tech Guy, new NJ resident here that's in the market to buy. From what I've seen, less desirable areas now have properties sitting with price reductions. I think the boom of those areas are done. Yeah, depending certain towns in Jersey, you will see some price reductions, but the key towns, like I always say, Ridgewood, let's see, Bergen County, we're talking like Ridgewood's like number one. Like you can't touch Ridgewood. It's impossible. Like the houses go for so much money. Now, if you go further west into Morris County, I was been working with a buyer, the poor guy, we've lost out on, I think, like 5 houses now. The last house he put an offer on, that house got 30 offers. 30 offers and it sold for cash. So
You know what though, Jackie? The houses that are getting the price reductions, here's something to consider. It may not be the market shifting. It may be that the seller overpriced the
they
house.
overpriced a home. Absolutely. Again, it could be the agent.
I'm just saying, like
overpricing
if
the
you have
home.
a fluctuating market,
Yeah.
it's true. If you have a fluctuating market, you have to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And if you
That's
have
right.
if you have an agent that's using comps, if you're looking at comparable properties from 6 months ago, you're going to put the wrong price on the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you've got price reductions.
Yep.
Sit
That's right.
Look at recent, don't look at what's on the market. Never, ever,
Mhm.
ever price your home based on what's on the market. Always look at what is actually closed.
That's right.
So, and if you do that, I mean, everything sells, even Jackie, when the market crashed, right? The great financial crisis.
Yep.
Okay. Went through that. 06, 07,
Yep.
terrible.
Yep.
Did everything stop? No. Houses still kept, why did they keep selling? Because they priced them properly. The ones that didn't were the ones that sat. The ones that priced properly, it's not giving it away, it's pricing it within what the market is bearing.
Yep.
They all sold. You have to look at what is normal market time. If it's 60 days, 30 days, you gotta look at what's normal in your market and then price accordingly. And then you won't be stuck. And you just know that if you know the data for your area, it's a lot less stressful.
That's right. That's a good point. Boston area homes, welcome. Boston market is very hot right now. That Boston's been hot for years.
Inventory, like I'm south of
Yeah.
Boston.
Yep.
And it's towards the Cape, and I mean we still don't have. I mean it's like a trickle. It's
How
just a trickle.
how far are you from the city itself, Jen?
An hour.
Okay.
An hour.
Okay.
An hour due south.
Okay.
Right along the coast.
I've learned through the process of contracting on a home is to do what is right for you when it's right for you. Closing March 4th. All right. Congrats. Good for
Awesome.
you. Good for you. Here we go. Hi, Jackie and Jen. Question for you. I'm thinking of buying a home in a rough area that requires a lot of work. My thought is to do the work over time while building equity. Thoughts on this? If you can do it, if you can pull it off for the sake of building equity, and look, Jen's an expert at this, right, Jen? Like your
Am I?
house, you are, because you you are. I mean, Jen did a lot of DIY. She did a lot of work on her house.
I bought. I mean, I bought for the area.
Yeah.
I bought for the area 25 years ago. I bought in the neighborhood that I maxed out what I could afford, and I bought a house that needed a ton of work, and my husband and I chipped away at it. But we bought a house that we knew we could live in. It's not something that would be the only caution is that if this is going to be a home that is going to be your primary residence, then you want to be able to know that you can chip away at it, time-wise, financially. Now, it took us 16 years to get to the point where it was like, okay, we got the bigger stuff done. It took a while, but that's okay.
Yep.
Everything was functional. We managed and everything was okay, throughout those years. But you want to make sure that if you're looking at a property that needs work
Mm-hmm.
and you think it's going to cost you $50,000, right? Look at your time frame and when it needs to be done, and then add another 50%, and count on spending probably $75,000, because number one, it's always going to cost you more than you think. Number two, there's the element of the unknown of inflation, and
That's right.
whatever's happening in the home improvement industry. If we have inflation, if we have things like tariffs that drive costs of goods up and whatever not, that extra 50% will help carry you in case the thing, that sink that you want to buy, is actually more expensive than it was a year ago, 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
But I mean, I think the thing is I think the answer to that question very simply, it's location, location. And you said
Yes.
not gray area. Don't buy something just because it's a deal. You want to make sure that it's something that you're going to enjoy living in once you're, renovating it,
Yep.
or look at the probability of selling it.
Yeah. Excellent point. Thank you, Jen. F. Delmar says, I want to place an offer, but I don't want to lowball them. Can you give me a general rule in submitting an offer? House has been on and off the market since November. Please advise. So
Look at the comp.
typical, what's that?
Look at the
Look at the
comps.
comps. Yeah. Look at the comps. Okay. Look and see what has sold like within the last month. It's
Yep.
look, if homes have hardly sold, it's going to be hard to find. I mean, rule of thumb, like 5%. I would go 5% under ask.
Depends though, Jackie.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, it could be that, if the house goes on the market and they don't have any offers 7 days in, but the average marketing time, the average offer to list to offer time is 30 days, they may not jump at a lower offer. I mean, you can always ask. You can
Yeah.
always ask, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to have something that's going to insult the seller. You want to be able to back it up with data.
Yeah.
So you have those comps and you say, okay, this is a comparable house that sold a month ago, and it has similar features and similar, characteristics, yada, yada, yada. And this is what it sold for. And this is why I'm offering the price that I'm offering.
Exactly.
Yep. And then you go from there. Otherwise, I don't think that there's a 5% rule or 2% rule. Like that does not exist. I mean, because it depends on your market. It really does.
Well,
And it
no,
depends on
exactly.
where that
But
house is priced in that
no,
market.
you're absolutely right. You're right about that.
know?
But I mean, typically this is what I tell people. If it's definitely overpriced, like let's go in it. Let's start, go in at 5% under. But your point though about making sure that they have the same features and everything. I think that's a key thing right there. You got to come with receipts. Okay. So when your agent's going to go present your offer, like you got to bring those comps. That's what I've done over the years. I go and I'll say, this house on 123 Main Street, this one on whatever, this sold for these prices. And this is why we're offering this. Sometimes the seller will come back. I've had this experience where there's like, well, too bad, Mike, we're not taking anything less, which that's their prerogative. That's fine. But come with receipts. That's what I'm saying.
Then you're not just pulling a number out of the air.
Exactly.
It's a little bit more respectful to the seller, but number one. Number two, it's not like you're just throwing numbers at the seller trying to, because that's the way they're going to feel. But if the listing agent presents it as this is the reason why, then it kind of diffuses the situation. At the end of the day, it's all negotiation between a buyer and seller. A lot of it is all emotional. The seller's attached to the house. If they've been there's so many moving parts. This is why there's no percentage, because there's just so many things that could vary.
Right. So Jen, look at this. I love this comment. Cool to listen to this. I believe all realtors are crooks and liars working for commission. So I'm glad to listen to y'all that might be honest.
Well, 80%.
80% of agents are
Coastal
like that.
Cat, probably about my opinion, our opinion, Jack, you share the same opinion. After 28 years in this business, almost 30 years in this business, at this, it wasn't always this way, but over the last 10 years, I think 80% of the agents, they're not necessarily crooked. A lot of them are just untrained and they just don't know how to properly represent people. But a lot of them do not have and don't care. Because it's a check, it's a job.
That's so true.
And it's like, let's just get the deal done and move on to the next. And
it's transactional, not
it's a
relational.
transactional.
They're not relational, like you said earlier. That's how you and I work. It's all about it's the relationship, but it's also again we're there to advocate for them and to guide them and make sure they're not getting screwed over. Bottom line, that's how you and I work. And I feel like that's what real estate agents, that's what we should be doing.
That's what you should be doing.
Yes.
And a lot of them do. Some of it, but that's why we do our referrals, so we can try to connect people with the hidden agents, because the good ones are the ones that, like, how do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know the difference? You don't, it's hard to tell, but
Yep.
Um,
Paul says, I'm living in my condo and renovating at the same time. It's okay if you don't mind being covered in construction dust all the time. God bless you.
been there.
Oh my God. Been
Been
there
there.
too.
I had my
Oh,
first place when my husband and I bought our first place. It was a townhouse, and we ripped out all the carpets and put in hardwood, like unfinished hardwood. I won't do that
uh-huh.
again.
We just
It
yeah, we
was
just replaced we just
dust
put hardwood
central. It
floors
was a
in. Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah, we replaced our hardwood floors on our foyer. We had marble tile. It was so it was so gross. It was like they had a film over it, like no matter what you did to
That sounds
clean
like
it, it
fun.
just didn't shine. So I had a guy come in, ripped that floor out. Oh, it was awful. They had it. We had to bring a dumpster in. It wasn't. It was like my foyer's not that big, but they ripped all this marble out, all the cement, all the crap, and then we had to lay the flooring in. Oh, it was a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. But
We
I
real
love it.
quick. So my house that we're in now, we had shag carpet, all the things, first floor, house built in 1971. It was just
Ugh,
me and my husband at the time, no kids yet. So we did our entire first floor hardwood, unfinished hardwood, right?
yep.
Kitchen, the whole 9 yards. So when you put real hardwood down, Jackie, and you sand it, you put polyurethane, you
Mhm.
can't walk on polyurethane.
No.
So literally, there's a span between the front door and the steps to go upstairs.
Yeah.
We had to go through the front door and like jump to the steps
Yeah.
to go upstairs.
Yep.
We lived in the basement. The basement was partially like it's a two garage under, so a small basement, but we put the TV down there and whatever not,
Oh,
and we
God.
managed. But like it was a pain in the rump. But
Yeah.
you know what though? It's
But it's
temporary.
worth it in the end. It's temporary. That's how you have to
It's
look
so
at it.
worth it. It's
It's
temporary.
temporary. I
Yep.
know.
If you can
So,
do it. If you can do
yep.
it. We didn't have kids at
Yeah.
the time, so it was a little easier, but
Yep.
I
Hey,
was like a lot
Clark.
younger.
Clark showed
Hey,
up. Hey,
Clark.
how are you, Clark? What is each of yours MLS site in 2025? So our multiple listing? I mean, I'm
So
on
I'm MLS PIN. Is that what you're saying? MLS PIN is my up here in New England,
so we just
Massachusetts.
so so Jersey, we have multiple MLSs. Are you surprised? So we have
Well,
so
that's the way it is here. We have Cape and Islands. Cape Cod is like another country. I swear.
yeah.
It's
So
another
we
country.
have so we have New Jersey MLS, Garden State MLS, and then you go down to the shore, it's Monmouth and then Flex and then Bright MLS. It's yeah.
So when everything came down the pipe with all the craziness with the commissions last year and all the things, all the settlement rolled out, right? And the changes were in effect in August of last year with changes to how the commissions are presented to buyers and sellers and so on and so forth. One of the things that was a hot topic was a national MLS. Period. It's the best
Yeah.
damn thing. I wish that
I
would
wish they would
happen.
do it.
I
That
wish
wouldn't
that would
that
happen
would make
because
so much sense.
jumping, like for example, Texas, poor people in Texas, they don't allow sold prices to be
I
advertised on the
know.
Texas. You go on
Isn't
Texas
that
MLS.
crazy?
You go on Zillow, none of the sold price. Like why?
Why?
Why is it top
Why?
secret? There's no
I
reason.
know.
That
I
doesn't make any.
that's
It's like why?
that I
And
never
so
understood with Texas. Why the hell are you doing that? That's just why can't we see this? So I mean, total disservice. Anyway, Patty says Exodus out of Florida. All the reasons stated. I'm in Palm Beach, and I think I know who Paul is. Well, Patty, watch Jen's live stream tomorrow night. Paul will be on, and they'll
yep.
talk all about it. Hey Jackie, love you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hi Zolita. Appreciate you being here. A Sandrick says, by the way, my same exact floor plan in our old neighborhood on market since Thanksgiving with no bites, minimal work. Original 1986 baths and kitchen. Like Jackie said, us having the pre-market inspection was gold. See, I get, I think Jen, when you do one of your videos about selling a house, I think you need to talk about that, Jen.
What's that?
Doing a pre-home inspection.
I have actually incorporated that in multiple videos.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
It tells you how much I'm watching
Yeah,
your videos.
the most recent. Watching all my videos, Jackie.
I'm not stalking you. Sorry.
I'm so pumped.
Oh my God. John's 80s chick. Oh, I like that handle. Are unique homes like large modern homes hard to sell in the Northeast? I don't see many here. Um, There's not that many up here in the Northeast. Like, we have a lot of older homes. Like I said before, we have, like here in Jersey and parts and even New York, like, there are homes and, like, going back to the early, like, 1900s, even 1800s where Jen is, it's even older than that. So,
But
the
even in
moderns you don't see too many in the modern homes, not here in Jersey.
yeah,
They're
it's,
few and far between.
the ones that we have with the newer homes, because we do have some new construction, right? So a lot of the new construction are variations of like traditional colonials, but
Mhm,
and they're variations in the sense that may have a little bit more creative floor plans. They're not true contemporary homes,
mhm,
that you would see in other parts of the country.
right.
Um, West Coast and things like that. But it's I think it's the what the demand is for this area. People move to this area, it would be out of character
Yep,
I think we see more contemporary style homes on the water.
yeah,
When people that because the fact is they're trying to incorporate the view. So
yep.
that and whether it
You
be
need the
on a
windows.
pond or we
Yeah.
have 300 bodies of water in Plymouth alone. So whether it be on a pond or the ocean, they're trying to incorporate that. So that's where you're going to get something that's a little bit more contemporary. But
Yep. Yes.
so
Lawrence in South Jersey, Robbinsville, house went on the market last weekend, 6 offers, all over asking in 3 days. Under contract, 6 figures over asking. I'm
that's
not
bonkers.
not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's just I know. Welcome to Jersey. So I say that all the time. Like, this is our life. I'm preparing my house for sale in Florida. My neighbor's interested to buy it. Shall I agree to neighbor's offer or list the house?
Oh,
This is a good
I
one.
okay.
This is
So
a good one.
here's what I'm gonna say on this, if you don't mind, Jackie.
No.
Um, I'm gonna say first off, what's important to you, because agreeing to sell the house to the neighbor, versus listing the house are two different paths. If having a least amount of stress, if not having people come through your house, if not having to deal with staging the house, if not having to deal with presentation and negotiation and all the things is important to you, then that's worth something. Okay. If it's not, historically, homes that are listed on the market, listed on the open market, you will likely get more money
Yep.
for that house than what your neighbor is, the neighbor's offer.
Yep.
Hands down. It's just the way it is because now you've got an open market and a potentially competitive market. The neighbor could still put their offer in. Maybe the neighbor's
Mhm.
house, maybe the neighbor's offer will go higher. Maybe the neighbor's offers will be best. But I think testing the market in the sense of, opening it up to the general public is always the way to go.
I
It's
agree.
always the way to go. I
Yep.
again, if with the caveat that it depends on your situation, because I've had clients that have said, "You know what? It's worth it for us not to have to deal with all that stuff. That stuff is
Yeah.
actually has monetary value." Like I'm okay with getting a little less for the house
Yes.
with
To
not
not have
having
the
to deal with
aggravation.
the
Yep.
stress.
The stress of
And
people
that's
creeping through. Yeah.
that
Yep.
is not there is no right or wrong answer. It's all of what's best for you.
Yes. Hope that helped, which I think that's excellent advice. Stephanie Hansen, we have a house on the market in San Marcos, California. It's been on the market since the middle of November. Priced well, but a lot of the similar size houses, none are selling. Patience is hard.
Mm. It's a
Waiting
tough time of year
continuation.
though,
Yeah,
middle of
it is kinda
November.
tough. We're willing to drop the price and have one. So realtor says just be patient until March.
No, no,
Eh,
no.
I
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the market, but when an agent says don't drop the price, like, and you're saying you're willing to drop the price, like
yeah.
now they're not respecting your wishes. But if you have a house that's not selling, it's been on the market for a while, the agent is trying to be the I don't know. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I get like this is an agent that is not I mean, what are they trying to be a hero? Making you wait an extra 6 weeks, 5 weeks in the house? Seriously?
Here's something that could happen. So say you do reduce the price now, go back to them and say, "I wanna drop the price, say 20,000." All of a sudden, you may have buyers come out of the woodwork and you're gonna have a
Yep.
bidding war. I've seen that
Yep.
happen too. So, I talk to your agent, don't let them yeah, I agree.
Buyers
Do
buy homes 12 months out of the year.
yeah,
And and
yep.
and when an agent tells you to wait to list it, it depends on your situation.
Well, to
Depends
drop
on
the
your
price, she's
situation.
saying. Yeah, she's saying just wait until be patient till March. She didn't want him to drop the price.
Well, but it's
It's so
already on the
so
market. If
it's
it's
on
already
the
on the
market
market,
now, right.
why wait? There's no waiting.
No, drop the
That
price.
doesn't make any sense.
No,
They're
drop
they're
the
getting
price.
yeah, I suspect they're getting bad advice.
Yep. Yep. Roy says, I'm assuming you said meant to say lucky. I'm lucky I had 20%er on both the New Jersey sale and the Arizona buy. You can tell some 80%ers are just clowns.
That's being you're being super nice.
You're being really nice,
You're
Roy.
being because off camera, oh, Jackie and I have words that we
Wait.
we won't say on camera.
No, we won't.
They're
No,
not
we won't. We
nice.
won't go there.
Yeah.
How is the market performing in Bernardsville and Mendham? I'm not 100% on Bernardsville and Mendham, but I can guarantee you it's probably as crazy. If the houses are priced well, they're flying off the market. I feel like the entire state of New Jersey, if it's priced well, it's going. And you know what's really freaking me out, Jen? I was looking last night at the Jersey Shore, and we've talked about this before. I mentioned this like every week for the past few weeks now. Netflix is building a studio
Yep.
down in Fort Monmouth. That used to be a military base, and they're predicting that the home values down the Jersey Shore are going to like skyrocket. Well, I was looking last night, just just to see, just to see. So there's this beach town called Belmar, and this is where we used to go when we were like newly out of college. We used to go down there on the weekends. We would buy shares. We rent shares of a house. Like 20 of us would go in on a house for the summer, and we would go down there on the weekends. And it was
Mhm.
like total, like, you drink, do stupid thing. That was the town, right? That's where everybody went. That town, I looked last night. Homes are now, they're listed multi-million dollar homes in this town now. I'm like, what the hell happened to Belmar? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Demand.
It's
It's all
yes.
demand.
But I was saying to my husband, I go, what the heck? I go, do you remember going to Belmar as a kid? He goes, yeah. He goes, we used to party there all the time because his parents had a house in the town next door. And I was
Back in my
floored.
day.
Back in my
Back
day,
in
when we
my
used to go
day
down to
when
the
we had the
Jersey Shore.
parties.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just had to throw that in there because I was just like, I was dumbfounded. I'm like, holy crap, it's bad. Anyway,
Oh, it's a good question.
how do selling prices compare to tax assessments?
It's a
How
great
can I find
question.
comps on my own without an agent? You want to take it, Jen?
Yeah,
You're like
absolutely.
chomping at the
So
bit.
two parts. So number one, houses compare the house selling prices compared to tax assessments. Okay, this is going to vary depending on what county you're in. Super important. Some counties do full value assessments. When you buy the house for 400,000, they're going to come out, the tax assessor's going to look at it. Your tax bill for next year is going to be 400,000. Some counties will assess across the board regardless of what you paid for the house. They're going to assess it based on what the average amount is for the area and look at comparable properties from the past 12 months. I know for example, where I'm at, it seems like my values trail about 18 months. So my assessment is always lower on an appreciating market. Our assessments in Plymouth typically trail behind behind value, and then in a depreciating market, it's the reverse. However, the tax assessments typically do not account for updates and upgrades. So you have a granite kitchen, you poured a ton of money into it. It's all the updates and the latest gadgets, whatnot. Your neighbor has a run of the mill functional kitchen. Your house is going to be assessed exactly the same. It's going to be likely assessed the same. Doesn't have anything to do with market value. So when I look at tax assessments, when I'm doing comparable properties, I will look at a tax assessment on a property just as another reference point. It's not the reference point, but just if I have, especially if a property that's maybe a little bit challenging to try to figure out, what that property would sell for, I look at these two properties, and if they are very close, very, very close in all their characteristics, and I look at the tax assessment for one versus the tax assessment for another, and keep in mind, tax assessment includes building and land. So your land values are going to differ from neighborhood to neighborhood. So, if you look at those two, it can give you some clues, but don't use that as a determination for value. And then as far as where you can find your properties, your comparable properties, if you live in a state that posts the sale prices publicly, hopefully you're not in Texas. Honestly, Zillow's, the Redfin, Realtor.com, all the data is there.
Mhm.
All the data is there, and they put it on a map and everything. You punch in your address, and then you want to go within a mile radius because you want to try to find similar location. And then if you can't, go a little bit further out. But you go right on there, and then try to you're trying to find properties that are similar in characteristics. It's not going to be exactly the same, but that's where you have you're going to adjust if it's a little bigger, a little
Right.
smaller, so on and so forth. But
Yep.
my advice would be.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Looking to buy an 1868 house with a saggy roof. Great deal, beautiful charm. Thoughts? Well, like you heard what Jen said before. When she bought her house, it was all about the location. It needed a ton of work. So if you're up for the challenge, yeah, I would say, you know
Look at
what?
your budget.
You could do it. But look, yeah, absolutely. Look at your budget, see what it's going to cost you to replace that saggy roof. If you can pull that off and then you have the funds to renovate it to your liking, it could be an amazing thing. Could
Yep.
be great investment. And but just again, check your budget, make sure that you had the means to do it.
Average up 1.5 times.
Yes.
Average
Yes.
up.
How do I find out where homes are being built in New Jersey? Yeah, it's like a needle in a haystack here in this state. I know of like there's new communities down in Monmouth County. Um, if you look out like further western Jersey, you could always just look on Zillow and see. And then there's like you have the one-offs from private builders or build homes on a lot. We have a few of those here in my town. So you could always look on Zillow for that, or just contact a real estate agent, just have them search for new construction homes for you, but they're few and far between, I hate to say it. It's not like Florida, that's for sure. Uh, Let me see here. Oh, hello, Mawa, what's going on? It's not off topic. If not off topic, do you know a good calculator program or channel so I can plug in my loan info with paying extra on principal each month? I want to reduce 30-year mortgage to less years. I I think any mortgage calculator, you can do that now.
Yeah, you just go on Google and ask it that exact question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Just
Yep.
ask it. You're looking for a principal balance calculator,
Yep.
and you can be able to type all that in.
Yep. Don't bury the lead. Found you a few months ago. I've been binging your content. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Have either of you had a client that tries to buy a house that they can't afford?
Yep,
Uh-huh.
of course. And you know what?
Yep.
I usually know right out of the gate. I
Yep.
know because I will not go out with a buyer. I will not go out with a buyer unless we do a consultation. Period.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it used to be in person. We'd meet at the office.
Yep.
COVID changed that. Now we do everything by Zoom. It's just more convenient for everybody. And
Mhm.
usually it's about at least an hour and a half. And the goal of the consultation is to find out exactly what their concerns are, what their goals are. I want to understand exactly, why they want to move where they are, the whole 9 yards, and also get an general idea of their financial stability. And particularly with a first-time home buyer, the question I always ask is, do you have a budget? And if you don't, that's the first thing I tell them. You got to have something written down. And
Mhm.
then number 2 is the down payment they're planning to use. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Is the down payment you're planning to use, is that your entire savings? And I've had a couple say yes, and I tell them, you are not ready to buy a house.
Yep. Yep.
Why
Yeah,
don't
because
you why don't you continue saving, and let's
yep.
reconvene in 6 months?
Because the mortgage the lender, they wanna see that you have money in your bank account after you close too, so
Well, that too. And
you
and
can't
and
drain your account. So
and to be honest, this is I can give that advice, doesn't mean they're gonna follow it.
no, I know.
And I've had some that are like, it'll be fine. I'm getting a raise. And I will strongly advise that they just put a pin in it, that it really, just because dishwashers fail after you close, hot water heaters fail right after you close, even though it looks fine in the inspection, because stuff happens. But if they insist, I can't stop them.
Right. No, you're right.
But
You're
I can
absolutely right.
certainly advise that they press pause. And I have.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
All right. How do new luxury townhouses compare to older single-family homes hold or gain value in northern New Jersey? Looking to downsize now that the kids are moving out, but want a good investment. So they will definitely go up in value. Townhomes and condos typically don't go up in value as much as a single-family home. It's always been that way.
Mhm.
I don't think it would be a bad investment if that's what you want to move into. I don't think so. You'll definitely, if you're going to be there for a long time, you're definitely going to gain some value on it, but not as much as a single family home. But if you downsize and you don't want to deal with, the upkeep, the lawn, and all that stuff, yeah, I think that'd be a good way to go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Someday
As
defect
you
bought
should.
Yes, bought this home in Colorado because of location and land size. I am doing what Jen did, remodel while living here. Built my shop first, listening to you guys while floor grinding my mechanical room. I love
I
it.
love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love
Awesome,
it.
awesome, awesome. So Patty has a comment about the person wanting to sell their condo to a neighbor. Wouldn't want to sell directly to a neighbor who might expect a discount based on the neighbor relationship. That's an excellent point.
Mhm.
You got to be careful of that too. Debbie says there are new townhouse communities being built in Burlington County. Okay, good to know, Debbie. Thank you for sharing that. If a developer is building around an old house, does the value for the old house and property generally increase or decrease? That's a good question. Generally,
Hmm.
I think I've seen it go up. I've seen it increase. I don't think it does. It really has that much of an effect personally
Mm.
on the
I
value.
would concur.
Right? I don't think
Yep.
so. Charlton in New Jersey, do real estate agents have to disclose if a house under an airport landing takeoff zone? That's great question. And yes, they do. It's on the contract.
Is it
'Cause
really?
yes, because there's several airports in the state, like
That's
not just Newark, and there's Newark, there's one in Atlantic City, and then there's all these smaller airports. Like we have one here in Bergen County at Teterboro Airport. Yes, yes, they do. Yep, we have to disclose that. Let me see. My neighbor wants right of first refusal when I sell. No,
no.
no. How
That is
about
a neighbor that
no?
doesn't know how real estate works.
Exactly.
No.
So, hello, Marlon. Thanks for being here.
Howdy.
All right. All right, got another question. Wondering what legal issues could come up if I sell on my own without an agent. Get a good real estate attorney.
Absolutely.
If you're listen, I'm all for it. If you want to go for sale by owner, do it. Get a referral for a good real estate attorney. And they'll walk you through with that, like what potential legal issues could come up. But you want to have somebody good that knows it,
Yeah, you
that
want to
knows
know
the law.
exactly what in your area. Like, for example, the airport issue. We don't have that here in
Yep.
Massachusetts,
Yep.
but a local attorney will know. What is it that you need to disclose, in your particular state,
Yep.
and what is required. The last thing you want is to get yourself in hot water by
Yep.
not disclosing those issues
That's
to a
right.
prospective buyer because you
That
didn't think
is
you had to tell them that, oh, well, the water in the basement's only occasional. Well, then it doesn't get water all the time. So I'm not gonna, it's not a big, it's not a, the thing that I'd be cautious about is things that are your perspective. So you may not be worried about the water in the basement. Okay. To you, it's not a big
Mhm.
deal, for example, but a buyer might be.
Yeah.
Buyer, any water in the basement is an
That's gonna
issue.
be a
So we
problem.
can't assume that you're being okay with it is the way that they're gonna feel too. And I
Yep.
see that a ton. I see that a ton with homeowners. It's like, no, you have to let them know, let them make the decision on
Mhm.
whether they have an issue of it. And if
Yep.
they don't buy it, they don't buy it. But the last thing you want is to be served a notice that you're going to small claims court because the buyer says you didn't disclose that there was the water occasionally in the basement.
That's right. Good point. NJ Tech guy, my agent replies to my question via text 24 hours after. During the interview, he said he's always available, that he lives on his phone. Is that an indicator of a bad agent?
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you ask him to talk to you only by text? That would be the question I would have, because a good agent's gonna communicate to you the way you want
You
to be
want to be
communicated
communicated to,
to. But
absolutely. Yep.
24 hours?
Now.
No. Like,
No.
I mean, I'm busy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get back to you in 2 minutes or 30. If I'm with an appointment,
Yes.
I'm not that the person I'm with is the person that I'm focused on. I do not take calls. I do not do text messages while I'm on an appointment.
Yeah.
I also don't do it while I'm driving. But
Right.
if you're in a busy day, I always the goal is always get if someone, especially an active client that I'm working with, especially get back to them by the end of the day, just or even a quick, hey, I'm straight out this afternoon. Can I call you tomorrow or whatever? But
Right.
yeah, I would be red
24
flag on
hours,
that.
that's
So
unacceptable.
no,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be
are they working another job or something?
yeah, exactly. I didn't mean to be that guy, but I'm gonna say 24 hours,
Just
absolutely not.
do
A
it,
couple of
Jackie.
hours, a few hours, like just
Speak your truth. Let's
all
call,
right.
you know,
Okay. All
these
right. I
these
will.
consumers are paying a ton of money, these agents. That is
Right.
BS.
It is. It
I
is
get so
BS.
fired up on this stuff because it's garbage.
I know.
Like, you
I
know
know.
what? No, that's not okay.
No.
That is
No,
not
it's not
okay.
okay. Not
Not
okay.
professional. Ditch the agent.
Yes. Yes. Can them. Anyway.
Send them
Anyways.
packing. Send them
Yep.
a dear John,
There you
a
go.
dear John note. Be
John
like,
Connor.
it's not you, it's me.
Me. Yeah.
See ya,
Oh my
buddy.
god. All
I
right, we have
will.
another question here, Jen. Are you seeing an increase in demand for homes with ADUs or mother-in-law units? Do you think generational living will be more common in the future? Yeah, I think that will be. And
I do
there's
too.
been talks about that. It's becoming a thing. Have you heard of the next gen homes? The new construction, like the new homes they're building now? I saw a bunch of these in Delaware, in Lewis, Delaware. There was a community, these next gen homes where they have an apartment attached to the home. So it could be for your kids, it could be for your parents wanna come live with you. They're
That's
beautiful.
that's
Like,
kinda brilliant
yeah, yeah, they're beautiful
for the
homes.
right
So,
person.
yeah.
I wouldn't want my parents to live next to me like that.
No?
No good. I love you, mom and dad, but no. They wouldn't wanna live next to me either, so it's mutual. So it's not for everybody, but no, I can totally see it though, and talk
Yeah.
about like a great opportunity,
Yeah,
for some, young adults to
right.
just,
They
just to
can't
have their space, right?
yep.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to go.
All right, Roy. Roy says basement flooding 4 feet deep was only once every 12 years, so I didn't disclose. Only kidding. You better be kidding. Because Roy, you'd be in big trouble.
We gotta talk, my
You'd be
friends.
in real estate jail for that one.
Real estate
So,
jail.
yeah.
You get 3
Yeah.
squares
So
you get 3 squares of that real estate jail?
yes,
I'm just
you do.
saying. Is it
You do
peace and
get 3
quiet?
squares.
'Cause I wouldn't mind going to real
I
estate
wouldn't
jail every
mind
now and then.
going.
Little time out. I would like a little
Oh
time
my
out,
god.
bring a
All
book,
right. All
just
right, my friends. It's been so amazing having you here, Jen, as always. So we
always a
have
pleasure.
this is Jen's channel. Please go show her some love. Go watch. She's got awesome, awesome content. So tomorrow night she'll be live
6
6
PM.
o'clock, right?
Yep,
6 p.m.
every Tuesday, 6 PM
Any
Eastern. Eastern.
anyone, yes, Eastern time.
Yep.
Anyone who's curious about the Florida market, Jen's going to be talking about it with our good friend Paul Likens.
Yes, ma'am.
And speaking of Paul, I'm going to be on Paul's live stream on Wednesday night. So
Well, there you
whoever
go.
wants to watch me there. So anybody is looking for a real estate referral, real estate agent referral, please click this link down below, jackie-baker.com, fill out the form, and I will get you connected to an agent in your area. So Jen, thank you.
Jackie, thank you.
Really appreciate you being here. Good conversation. And I appreciate the chat. You guys were all awesome tonight. Thank you for being here. And I'll
Yes.
see you all next week. Good night.